I was in college. I went to Brandeis University, and I would say it was the end of my sophomore year when I had to declare a major, and I was like, you know what? You don't a major at a liberal arts school is not necessarily going to set you up with a lifelong career, no matter what you choose. So I might as well choose something I like.
Right.
And then the summer after my junior year, I got my first professional job at the Berkshire Theater Festival, and then the next summer I got my next one, and then I started working after that. So it was, I mean, I had known that I loved it before then, knew that I kind of wanted to be doing this, but didn't know that it was going to be a career choice. I thought I wanted to like just do it because I loved it,
Right.
do it because it was fun. But then I was like, no, I think I'm crazy enough to like do this as a career, and I guess I guess I am.
And so, what then was your first theatrical role that you played? That was junior year, you said?
Yeah, summer after my junior year, I
yeah.
was Aide Warren in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest at the
Okay.
Berkshire Theater Festival, and then the next summer I was Crowther in History Boys at Speakeasy Stage Company.
What was that like jumping on stage? So, you were still in school, so
Yeah,
what was that like for you?
it was a lot of fun. That was up until that point, that was the most fun summer I'd had in my life. I was living with a bunch of actors and artists who were crazy about making theater in the middle of the woods in western Massachusetts. So it was just the community of people was amazing. It was the first time that I'd really gotten a sense of like, oh, this is what this feels like to be around people who are really doing this with their lives. So that was fun, and getting up on stage was a joy. I was working with the director of the play, had directed at Brandeis, and Nurse Ratched was played by Linda Hamilton. So I was just like, I was
That's
having the
cool.
time of my life. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So once you graduated, what was your focus? Did you want to stay primarily in theater? Did you want to go out for movies and television as well, or you were just trying to dip your toe in every pond?
Yeah. Early on, I wasn't really interested in doing film or TV. I was pretty much just wanted to do theater, and I think it's because it was comfortable. It was what I knew, and it was what I had kind of grown up doing a little bit. Like when I was in high school, and I'd done a little bit of theater, so it was something familiar. It was something that I was like, okay, this I feel like I understand. And film and TV, I didn't feel like I understood as well, and I also felt like I didn't connect to movies and TV the way that I did to theater. It was a more visceral response. And then the more that I did it, the more that I started to see the ways that film and TV capture or can tell stories in a way that theater can't, and likewise theater can tell stories in a way that film and TV can't. So the interest for doing film and TV came later. In the beginning, it was really, I wanted to be on stage and play characters and tell stories.
And when you did finally break into television, you had done episodic work on quite a few New York shows.
Yeah.
Talk about those experiences, getting on set for the first time.
Oh my God. So the first time I was on set, it was for A Person of Interest on CBS, and I remember I was working with, I had some scenes with Malik Yoba, and that was 2012, so maybe like 3 years later or something, we end up doing a play together in New York where he plays my father.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, it was really cool. It's a small world.
Yeah, very
and,
small.
He said to me then, he was like, you looked like you were comfortable and stuff, but I could also tell that it was your first time being on a set like that. And so I think what I was feeling at the time was that it's not like on stage where you have been in rehearsal for weeks at a time. It's really a lot faster.
Yeah.
I had auditioned on, I think it was a Wednesday maybe, and then they were like, okay, so tomorrow you'll have a fitting, and then Friday you will shoot your first scene. And so
That's
you just
fast.
had to be
roll with
you had to be
punches.
ready.
Yeah.
And so that was something that I wasn't accustomed to. So it was just kind of, and I wasn't accustomed to there being that many people there at the same time watching you do the thing. I mean, I guess you have that in theater, you have the people, but they're paying audience
It's
members and
different.
you rehearsed for them to be there.
Right, and you're getting a live reaction out of them for
right.
what you're doing, not so much like the crew doesn't always care what you're doing.
They're doing their jobs,
Right.
but they're there. And so it was a very different atmosphere. So I
Yeah.
think that took a bit of getting used to. But it was also I feel most excited about work that I feel like I'm learning at the same time that I'm doing it. I feel as I would learn fastest that way as well. So once I was on that set and I saw how things went, it was like, oh, okay, I see how what I'm doing now is related to what I was doing before, and I'm figuring out the ways to translate that and make it better.
Did you settle back in when you were working with Malik? Did it kind of feel like old hat because you already had a relationship? Did that help with putting on this other performance that you had? Because
It did. That was for a play called The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner at the Atlantic, and because I had known him, it was like you got to build off of something to make this relationship of this father-son relationship or stepson relationship work. And what was great about it was that it was a contentious relationship in the play, but we got to build off of like actually having worked together and enjoyed working together, liking each other, and then going into something else where we didn't play that. So it was good to build that so you had something to play off of.
And you just wrapped a show as well. Why don't you talk a little bit about that theater performance and your character?
Yeah, so that was a play called Travisville. It's by William Jackson Harper, who is a phenomenal actor. You might know him from The Good Place. He's on that, plays Chidi. But he's also a playwright. And I'd been workshopping this play that he had written for a number of years now, and then finally got to do this production. And it's set in a town in Texas, fictional town in Texas, that the Civil Rights Act has been passed, but they haven't enforced it. The town hasn't integrated. And both the black and white communities in this town are like, actually, we're good with that.
Yeah.
And my character is this activist who comes from out of town who is like, no, that's not okay. We need to fight for our rights, and we need to fight for it now, especially because there's a development that's going to displace a large community of black people in that town, and they're not going to get fair prices on their houses. And, so at the center of the play is the question of like, how do we demand change? Do we do it incrementally, small steps at a time, or do we say, no, we need everything now?
Right.
And then what do you risk when you demand change in either of those ways? It's a really good play.
That's awesome. And so now let's talk a little bit about your NBC show that's airing right now, Manifest.
So cool.
When you booked the role, what was that like for you? What did you have to do with the audition, and what did they tell you about your character?
The audition. So I had an audition, and it was like one scene, I think. And when I went in, the casting director asked, do you have any questions? And I only had one, and it was, who's Leo? Because Thomas, my character, referred to Leo. And she said, oh, it's his boyfriend, and that's a bit, it's a bit dangerous because he's from Jamaica, and and I was like, I think I got that. I understand that story pretty well. So I was like, let me just go into it. Went for it, did the audition, didn't hear for a little bit, and then I heard back from my manager that like it was looking good, but you still had some people who were like, no. And the casting director talked to the producers and had me come back in for another audition to be like, I think this is the guy. They went to bat for me, and were like, I think this is the guy to tell this story.
Yeah.
And so I went in, got 2 additional scenes, worked on them, worked with the casting director, and put them on tape, and then I found out a couple days later that I was going to be playing Thomas. So it was
That's
very
amazing.
special.
I was just going to ask you that. It must have been a special experience for you being part of such a show that's really burst onto the scene, and it's going to get you some more recognition than you already have.
Yeah. It was. Sorry.
No, go.
No, I was going to say it's very exciting, and it's also that to play a role like that, to play a queer Jamaican activist on network television, it's pretty badass.
Now, you have aired in 2 episodes already, and there is a possibility that you'll be back, correct? You don't even know, right?
I don't know.
You
don't know. I mean, I'm watching, just like most people I think are watching the show and wondering, where's Thomas? What's going on with Thomas? So I don't know what the story has ahead for Thomas.
Right.
I know that the last time we saw him, he went off, and so we'll see.
It must be exciting as a viewer to watch it, not
Yeah.
knowing when you're going to pop back in,
Yeah.
or if you're going to pop back
Right.
in, or what the circumstances might be around all that. So that
It's a
must
little
be.
nerve-wracking
It is
sometimes
yeah.
to watch the episode and be like, is it just gonna, like, am I just gonna find out something
Yeah.
that affects me? And I'm like, oh,
Or you find out you're like the catalyst behind the entire show, and
right,
that would be awesome, wouldn't it?
amazing. But yeah. So,
Note
but
to the
it's-
producers and the writers if you're watching this.
yeah, right. Bring back Thomas. Hashtag bring back Thomas.
Yeah. So what are you going to focus on now while you're going to try out in pilot season for some stuff? What are you going to be going after? Are you going to primarily focus on a certain genre in TV, or are you going to just go out and knock them dead at
I think I'm
each
gonna try
different
and knock him
audition?
dead.
Yeah.
Cast a wide net and then see what it is that I respond to and who responds to me.
Right.
And I think a lot of that is just being available and trying to be as diverse in my interests and what I can go out for as possible.
Yeah.
And the other part is figuring out what stories really appeal to me as a story. What am I interested in? Because
Right.
those are the things that I feel like I throw myself into most wholeheartedly.
As an actor, is there a medium or a genre that you feel the most comfortable in? Is it theater and drama, TV and drama, TV and comedy?
I'm not sure about feels most comfortable because honestly, I've like the roles that I've done, especially in the theater. So maybe theater is the one that I feel most comfortable in, just because I have the most experience in it. But the roles that I've played in theater have been very, very, very broad. So I feel I've done like really crazy slapstick, post-apocalyptic, comedic, futuristic stuff, and I've also done Shakespeare and traditional Shakespeare, like not even, and I've done new adaptations, so and lots in between. What I feel maybe not the most comfortable with, because I haven't done as much of that, except with the Vampire Cowboys Theater Company. That was the post-apocalyptic futuristic stuff. I really like sci-fi. I like the way that sci-fi allows a viewer and a storyteller to take in a story that might reflect on your own society, but you have some distance where you don't feel the need to be defensive about your society or how you might fit into it. It's a way of telling a story that people can relate to, but also don't necessarily see themselves in, and that allows you to kind of talk about your own society in a way that I think most genres can't do.
Yeah.
So I really like that.
That's awesome. Sheldon, thank you so much for taking the time to meet up with me. It was a real pleasure interviewing you.
Absolutely.
You're a great guy. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.